Fellas, if your girl starts acting like this after you ask her to sign a prenup, run and do not look back. This woman here is having a complete meltdown because her rich boyfriend said that he wants to have a prenup signed before they get married. She proceeds to melt down and claim that he's taken away a big payout from her. If someone ever tries to claim that you don't love them because they're not signing a prenup, that is not true at all. The way the laws are written in the United States, they heavily favor the female or whoever's making less money, which in most cases is females, and that's just statistics, not even bias. The laws are in default against the person who makes more money, so having a prenup will equalize that and make it much more fair.
I'm gonna say on a slightly on a tangent but similar topic. In fact, like one of my friends who studied in law in the UK, I actually asked him about the topic of like prenups, and I said it must be a good idea, right? You're safeguarding yourself, you're safeguarding each person, then you feel like it's a little bit more comfortable going into the relationship. And I said surely that's a good way to go, in a trusting way. And he was like, actually, there are loopholes. Just because you have a prenup does not mean you are going to get away without compensation. So it might work a little bit better in America, but let's say in the rest of the world, that's not the case. And
ladies and gentlemen, today I want to address the topic of prenuptial agreements and shed some light on their limitations. It seems there is a common belief among some that a prenup is the ultimate safeguard against financial loss in the event of a divorce. However, I want to challenge this notion and help you understand that prenups alone may not provide adequate protection. In today's world, prenuptial agreements often have limited effectiveness, to the point where their benefits can be questionable. It is important to recognize that a prenup must be fair and reasonable in order to hold up in court. Drafting a one-sided prenuptial agreement that heavily favors one party while leaving the other with little or nothing is unlikely to withstand legal scrutiny. While there may be certain countries or regions where such arrangements could be upheld, in most jurisdictions, fairness is a key consideration to ensure the enforceability of a prenup. Therefore, it is unwise to assume that drafting a biased prenup will secure your assets or protect you from financial losses. I understand that some may argue that their prenuptial agreements have served them well, and that may very well be the case. However, it is essential to acknowledge that many individuals may not be adequately protected by a prenup. One crucial aspect to consider when entering into a prenuptial agreement is the importance of open communication with your partner. It is advisable to discuss the topic of a prenup before getting married or soon after the proposal. By addressing this matter in a timely manner, you gain a better understanding of your partner's thoughts and concerns. Waiting until the last minute to bring up the topic can lead to complications. If your partner feels pressured or coerced into signing the prenup, they may claim they did so under duress, potentially rendering the agreement invalid. Furthermore, it is important to approach these conversations with respect and understanding, rather than fear of losing your partner. Fear should not be the driving force behind discussing a prenuptial agreement. Instead, the focus should be on ensuring a fair and mutually beneficial arrangement. Engaging in open and honest dialogue about financial expectations and responsibilities can contribute to a healthier and more transparent relationship. Ultimately, a prenup should not be seen as a guarantee against future disputes or financial loss. Its purpose is to provide a framework for addressing potential issues should a marriage end in divorce. While it can offer some level of protection, it is crucial to understand its limitations and the importance of fairness. It is essential to address the issue of timing when discussing prenuptial agreements. Surprisingly, many men tend to delay these conversations until the wedding day is fast approaching, ultimately jeopardizing the effectiveness of the prenup. To avoid such pitfalls, it is crucial to have the prenup discussion well before the proposal. By doing so, you mitigate the risk of the woman claiming she signed the agreement under duress or coercion, which could lead to its dismissal by the judge. Having the conversation in a timely manner is of utmost importance, and it is recommended that the prenup be signed months before the wedding. Now let's consider the subsequent steps involved in the process. Once you have firmly established the need for early discussions, you can proceed to the next step, engaging your lawyer and her lawyer in drafting the prenup. It is important to note that a prenuptial agreement should not be signed with only a witness or her lawyer present. To ensure fairness and to eliminate potential arguments of duress or coercion, it is in your best interest to involve both lawyers throughout the process, from drafting to signing. This level of involvement guarantees transparency, allows for revisions and changes, and ensures that both parties fully comprehend the content and terms of the prenup. By adhering to these measures, you minimize the possibility of the agreement being deemed invalid due to loopholes or misunderstandings. It is worth noting that judges may not be inherently inclined to rule in your favor, underscoring the importance of getting the process right from the outset to prevent the prenup from being dismissed as invalid. This stage has witnessed numerous men making critical mistakes, allowing women to argue that they lacked knowledge about the prenup or felt pressured into signing it. The ease with which women can manipulate the situation is alarming. To counter this, it is essential to ensure that both parties have their respective lawyers or witnesses present, following the correct procedures. Additionally, consider videotaping the entire process to establish irrefutable evidence that the woman willingly and knowingly signed the prenup, free from duress, pressure, or coercion. This step safeguards against potential attempts to invalidate the prenup by demonstrating the authenticity of the signing. If the woman attempts to claim duress, you can review the footage and, if necessary, call off the wedding. Some women resort to deceptive tactics, such as alcohol consumption, verbal ambiguity, or drug use, both on and off camera, to undermine the validity of the prenup. Being aware of these potential manipulations allows you to protect yourself and take appropriate action. It is an unfortunate reality that we live in a world where people play dirty. Failing to recognize these tactics can lead to dire consequences. Once you have finalized the prenup and recorded the process with witnesses or lawyers, it is crucial to retain a copy of the prenup and the recording in a secure location. As soon as the ink dries on the document, establish plans for creating backups and storing them safely. Losing the prenup or the recording without a backup can have severe repercussions. Apart from the initial point discussed, safeguarding your prenup at all costs becomes paramount. If everything has gone well leading up to this point, but during the signing process, you observe any suspicious behavior from the woman, such as alcohol consumption, drug use, or unusual conduct, it is advisable to call off both the prenup and the wedding. Remain vigilant in this challenging world, gentlemen. Familiarizing yourself with these deceitful tactics will prevent you from falling into the spider's web and being torn apart. I want to emphasize the significance of being willing to call off a wedding if you sense any red flags or suspicious behavior from the other party involved. It is crucial not to hesitate when it comes to protecting yourself and your future. There are several factors that can render a prenup invalid and lead to its dismissal. Firstly, it must be in writing and signed by both spouses to hold legal weight. Additionally, any sign of coercion or force used to obtain a signature can undermine the validity of the prenup. It is essential that both parties read and fully comprehend the terms of the agreement. Failure to do so can create grounds for contesting its validity. These considerations are of utmost importance, and it is crucial to take them seriously if you are preparing to enter into a marriage. Understanding that the laws surrounding prenups have not changed, it is necessary to be diligent in protecting yourself from potential future complications. It is worth noting that a prenup cannot include provisions regarding child support. Child support is intended for the welfare of the child and is determined separately from the prenup. Regardless of what is stated in the agreement, the court will not enforce any clauses related to child support. Therefore, it is essential to be aware of this limitation and make appropriate arrangements outside of the prenup for matters concerning child custody and support. While a prenup can provide some protection and facilitate the division of assets, it is important to recognize its limitations and potential flaws. It is possible for prenups to be contested in court, even if they were initially believed to be ironclad. Therefore, it is crucial to approach prenups with a realistic understanding of their efficacy in today's legal landscape. While a prenup may seem like a protective measure, it can still be contested in court, leading to significant financial burdens. In some cases, the cost of fighting to prove the validity of a prenup can be exorbitant, leaving individuals financially drained, even if they eventually win the case. A notable example is Dr. Drew's experience with his prenup. Despite having what he believed to be an ironclad agreement, the expenses involved in fighting to confirm its validity became overwhelming. Eventually, he gave up, and his ex-wife walked away with a substantial settlement. This serves as a stark reminder that prenups can become complex legal battles, often requiring substantial financial resources. This reality highlights the importance of considering alternatives to marriage or cohabitation if one seeks to safeguard personal assets and finances. Staying single can be a viable way to protect oneself from potential financial losses caused by the complexities of divorce proceedings. It is crucial to understand that once you sign a marriage certificate, the legal options available to protect your assets become limited. While a prenup may offer some level of protection, the decision to marry still entails risks. Therefore, it is vital to weigh the potential consequences and carefully consider if marriage is the right choice for you. While I understand that some individuals may still choose to pursue prenuptial agreements, I advocate for approaching marriage with caution and understanding the potential ramifications. By staying informed and making well-informed decisions, one can mitigate the risks associated with marriage and protect their personal and financial well-being. Finally, I must address the opposing viewpoints expressed by those who advocate for marriage and downplay the significance of prenups. Their arguments often emphasize the idea of building a strong relationship without relying on an exit strategy. While this perspective has its merits, it is essential to recognize that people and circumstances can change over time. In situations where a divorce becomes inevitable, the absence of a prenup can put men at significant financial risk, potentially jeopardizing everything they have worked to build. It is understandable that my perspective may not align with your own, and I recognize that you may perceive my stance as bitter or uninformed. However, I encourage you to make your own decisions regarding marriage and prenuptial agreements.